World of Tanks 2.0. I'm going to be telling you some of the features. I'm going to give you some insight that you're not going to get from the other streamers. There's definitely good things about World of Tanks 2.0, but unfortunately, there's some gotchas that the other streamers haven't mentioned. For example, most of you are going to have a lot of difficulty getting to tier 11 because of the cost involved, and most of you probably will never play tier 11. So I'm going to go through a lot of the things that they announced, and I'm going to tell you some insights. Another example was there is something to replace the field modifications. I'm going to tell you what they are. The other streamers didn't tell you what they are, but I went through and I read them all. So first of all, the garage interface, the big feature that they're adding is that you can make your own list. Like right now, there's a favorite list where you set something as your favorite. And for me, I do it for all the tanks I'm working on gun marks. And now you can make your own list. You can make one for frontline. You can make one for your favorite premium tanks. You can make one for gun marks. You can make another one for mastery badges. You can make another one for your favorite tank destroyers, etc. So the list feature is really good. They moved the text menu to the left instead of going across the top. This is very smart. You always want to stack text menus vertically. They stack very easily. Going horizontally, not so much. The interface looks obviously more upgraded. Putting the crew aligned with everything else isn't going to make a difference because you're really not going to care that much. And there's an option where you can hit the space bar and you can expand and you can view all the tanks and scroll through quickly, which I think you're going to like. So some of the changes that they made in the garage, I think you're going to like, but it's not enough to justify a huge upgrade, in this case to 2.0. So now we're going to talk. This is an example of how they expanded the view, and it shows some of the lists, the custom playlists that were made. Okay, another feature that they added is now you can look at the armor and you can see, and I think it looks nicer because it's the actual armor model. It looks a lot nicer. You can see the penetration areas. It's going to be nice. It's going to be worth looking at a little bit. There is a mod where you can do it in game, but I think this is just a gimmicky thing. It's not like a major upgrade. It's already available online. It's already available as a mod. It's a small enhancement to the game. I think there's going to be curiosity, but in the real world, you don't have the time to study all the different locations to hit something. The action's going so fast, you just got to shoot. And you might be far enough away that this sort of thing doesn't matter. This all looks nice and everything, but as far as I know, there's no features that were added. So you got tier 11, which is a lot of tanks. I think it's 16 tanks. And tier 11 would be the ones over here on the right, like the Tashin rat. Tashin, I'm pretty sure, means paper. So maybe it means paper rat. These are going to be difficult for you to get. You have to get 325,000 experience, and you got to pay 7.2 million credits. It's going to be expensive to get these tanks. It's going to take you a lot of research. You're going to have to play your mouse, which means you're either going to have to skip the field modification, skip any sort of crew enhancement, which isn't going to matter so much. It's going to be a lot of gameplay, but you're going to have a reason to play your tier 10 tanks. You're going to get to play the grand battle maps. But you know what? You've got so many tanks. I think it's in the 400s. I haven't even researched all the top tier tanks. I've been playing for like 13 years. And when they add a new tech tree, all the new tech trees I haven't even touched. Or I've gotten like the first one or two tanks. because there's just too many tanks that you want to play, and you want to get your 3 marks and mastery badges. You want to play frontline. There's so many things that you want to do. It's just another thing that you're going to have difficulty accomplishing. And I believe they are paper tanks. So I think it's going to be unreasonable to expect that a lot of people are going to be playing these tanks. They put a lot of work into it that is not going to be used. But there's going to be some features that are going to be used, which we'll get into. One of the things is that every tank has some sort of a special feature. For example, for 30 seconds, you get more penetration, or for 30 seconds, you get more spotting damage. That's going to be one of the features in the game. So now we come to this over here. I'm going to tell you what all of these mean. The cube usually has something to do with your hit points. This, I'm not sure what it is. This one is called the loading mechanism, which means that you've got an enhanced loading mechanism. It shows 3 empty shells coming in and then 1 shell in a chamber. This is obviously your aim. This is your aim, and it's got a little timer. This looks like rotating the hull. This looks like rotating the gun. It's hard for me to see. This is a shell. This over here is a shell with a timer, which is going to be the loading speed. This is rotating the hull. This is a speedometer. These are more shells, which is your ammo rack. This is the loading mechanism. There's 3 of them that were shown in the video. This is the engine performance. This is aiming percentage. Maybe it makes it smaller. This shows fire, and it shows a percentage, which probably means less fire damage. This shows a percentage to a gun, and it looks like a damaged gun, which means reduced damage to your gun by percentage. This, I'm not sure what it is. This one I know is engine performance tuning because I saw it in the video. This is something exploding. This is the gun moving around with the aim. This is, I believe, the hull moving forward in regards to aim, which obviously is stabilizing the gun or something like that. This is rotating the gun, which might be the turret. This, I can't tell what it is. This is another loading mechanism. It shows 3 shells going into a chamber, and it has a little timer. This one also has a timer, and this one over here is the same thing. Same thing. 3 empty shells going into a chamber with a little timer. And it's got a little number. It says 25/25. Now, if you want, I will play.
Tier 11.
Okay, we'll play and we'll see what the pop-ups were.
Each vehicle's unique playstyle.
And then it's going to get into the cosmetics.
The new vehicles feature an upgraded system exclusive to Tier 11, replacing field modification.
Okay, second slot category. It looks like you have an option to add a slot category.
It lets you make each of the...
That one says reload time, category firepower.
The 16 vehicles even more effective by improving both their...
This one says engine power, category mobility. I think it says 10,000. I thought that said 70,000. Maybe it's 10,000.
Characteristics and special mechanics.
And this one says improved loading mechanism. Something upgrade, mechanic upgrade. And then it says cost 20,000. This is going to be, 100 to 200,000 experience just to upgrade the new field modification. This replaces it, and it's tier 11 only. So you're going to have to play a lot to take advantage of the tier 11 tanks. It's not going to be easy. It's one thing that the other streamers are not mentioning. So now you've got cosmetics, you got the 2D styles, you got the 3D styles, and you've got the gun sleeve. Over here, they're taking away anything that requires the secondary tracks, I believe. So if you have something that's heavy and you have to upgrade the tracks, I think they're removing that, which I'm totally against. They should leave it in the game. The games are about making choices. Anything where you have choices to make makes the games fun and challenging. When they simplify it, they're removing your choices. They're doing this because they want you to advance through the game faster because they have so many tanks. I think they're making a mistake. So over here we got a lot of tanks rolling out. This is where they're explaining.
Suspension no longer affects load capacity.
Okay, so the suspension no longer affects load capacity. Over here, you saw some vehicles. You'll notice these are light tanks.
Improvements have been made to hundreds of vehicles across multiple tiers. Researchable light tanks have gained more hit points.
So researchable light tanks, non-premium, have more hit points. And they buffed premium tanks. This is a Type 5 heavy. This is in the tech tree. They also buffed Tier 10 tanks because this used to be an overpowered vehicle. It was very popular when it first came out, but then they nerfed it, which means it was no longer the best vehicle in the game. They do it every time they come out with a new tier, because if they don't do it, no one will play the new tier, the new tanks. So now you've heard about the new matchmaker where they're going to make it more equal. It's a huge mistake. I explained why. They're going to make it so that games are more the same. They say we're going to increase variability. They're not increasing variability. Every game's going to be the same. You might get more variability in one game, but over the course of thousands of games, it's all going to be the same. So what they're going to do is they're going to limit 2 SPGs, 5 tank destroyers, 2 light tanks. Those limitations are going to make it so that you have a good spread of vehicles. But again, over thousands of games, you're no longer going to have the variability that comes with a heavy tank destroyer versus a light tank destroyer. Or in this case, you see 3 tank destroyers on the right and 1 on the left, and then there's 3 on the bottom, and then there's 1 that's higher tier on the bottom. You want the variability. It's what makes the game fun. They're taking all of that away. It's a huge mistake. You can look at my previous matchmaker video where I explain it. The Unicums, they think this is a great change. It's not a great change. They don't understand. They're thinking about one battle. It sounds great, but it isn't. Over the course of hundreds of battles, it's all going to be the same. It used to be you could have 15 tank destroyers against 15 heavy tanks. I loved it back then. But the crybabies complain, he has a tank destroyer and I only have the strongest overpowered tank in the game. What am I supposed to do? You know, all the crybabies complain. I thought you were good players. If you're good players, you should be able to handle any situation. So they removed all the variability. It's getting worse. Anytime you add more rules, you remove creativity, which is a variability in the game. Just advancing to see what other disaster is here. There is a good feature that's coming up. Okay, so the new map, again, yes, so what if they made a new map? The problem with the new map is that how often are you going to play it? It's only going to be 3% or less of the rotation. It's going to be more like 2%. 1 out of every 50 games, you're going to get the new map. How often do you get a Grand Battles map? You almost never do. How often do you get the one with the rail in the middle that's like a tier 5 map? I forgot what it's called. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, where you can fire across the whole map if you're in the middle. You're not going to play it often enough to justify the excitement out of World of Tanks 2.0. And also, it is a corridor map where you're going to be in buildings where you can't get hit by SPG. I think what this is you play a tier 11 vehicle and it says story mission. So you're going to get to play one of the tier 11 vehicles, maybe with a couple other players, and play it on a special map. And you have to do something like take out the rocket launcher. And I recommended the rocket launcher when Frontline came out. I said, you don't have to do the cannons. You could do rocket launchers also. The new personal mission campaign is really nice. You've got 3 new tanks. One is called the Windhund. 3 new vehicles. You got to get the first one, then the second one, then the third one. This one is penetration. This one is aim. This one is assistance damage. You advance faster by completing each mission, but if you don't complete the mission, you still advance. There's a progress bar that goes across, and if you don't complete the mission within that time, you automatically advance. So that means it might be easier than there's the progress bar. It's this gray bar going across the top. And an example, they showed one, it said block 1,500 damage, but I wasn't able to see everything that was written. New map, not that exciting. This map is kind of even. There is a town, there's a field, there's a little bit of everything. You have to obviously see the overview to get it. But I guess we're not going to see it. I did see it. So it's like equally divided into those different things. So now this new penetration indicator is going to be hard to understand.
Aiming.
You see how it is? And it's got the way the green shows and the red down below. What I think this means is that green means you can penetrate that area. I don't know why it shows red. Okay, it shows red because that's not part of the hit model. The rim is not part of the hit model, so you can't damage it. But I think this is where the ammunition will hit. It's going to hit within that green area or the red area. So that's why it's good. It shows you the dispersion. One of the things they did is they're going to make your shots more accurate. You're going to hit more often. You're going to penetrate enemy tanks more often, but they're going to penetrate you more often. So the green on the outside edges of the circle, you're going to see less of the hit areas. So that's basically how they changed it. I think it's a cool feature, and it's definitely going to change the way people play the game. And it's going to show how you don't have to aim all the way in. A lot of the Unicums, they aim all the way in, and they don't have to. If you're aiming at the side of the tank, you don't have to aim all the way in. I aim from the top to the bottom, and you see people aim these little tiny circles. I hit like 99% of the time. All that matters is that you penetrate. You don't penetrate more because you aimed in more. Although it can happen with damaging internal modules, but I really think that's really stretching it. They say that there's new audio recordings, 4 new random events, which I don't think are a big deal. I think that it's pretty cool that the train is moving.
Moving forward or changing position.
So you can use the train to advance. I think that's pretty cool. But in general, I think that making the maps bigger was a better improvement than the random events. The random events, for the most part, are not that exciting. This is a random event where it shows the bridge.
So its debris creates new cover for aggressive play, and even ramps to reach higher ground.
I think this is pretty cool because it doesn't change. It changes the gameplay a little. It's not like Himmelsdorf where you can climb from the top and go down to the bottom, which is kind of silly. It changes it in the right way that it's supposed to change it for the game. The tanks are already here playing. It knocked the bridge down. It's going to change your positions a little bit, which means you got to make new decisions, which is going to make the game more fun without doing something crazy like ejecting you across the map. So my opinion, 2.0, it's not all that it's going to come out to be. The new matchmaker is actually bad, not better. Explained it in detail in an earlier video. Don't listen to the online streamers and the Unicums. They don't understand. Number two, the smaller dispersion, I think, is going to be worse for the game. That means you're going to be out of the game faster. And people are going to complain, why do we have these turbo battles now? The tier 11 tanks, you're not going to play them. You'll be lucky if you get one. You're probably going to get one, not be that satisfied with it. You want to play premium tanks. You want to play tier 8 tanks and your premiums, and you want to play tier 10 so you can get the grand battle maps. You're not going to be playing tier 11 tanks. It's going to be too expensive. So I think it's going to be a failure. I think that the RNG change, that actually is already in the game where you reduce the RNG. That's an example where players think it's a good idea, but it's really not. It's actually a stupid idea. It's like saying, would you like a $100 bill? Or I could do better. I could give you $101 bills. And if you're stupid, you'd think that one is better than the other, but they're both equal. So that's my review of World of Tanks 2.0. I think they should have done a better job. Although I think that the missions are going to be really cool. And the new garage, a few new improvements. The campaign mission, which means you're going to win a free gift tank, means it's not a premium tank. Doesn't make more money, but it gives you more crew experience. And a lot of the other features in the game are just going to be not big enough for you to make a difference. Okay, World of Tanks 2.0. If you have any questions or comments, please post below. Don't forget to go to cheapbooks.com to search for books and textbooks.